All right, it's early May '62, and it's still pretty muddy out there. So, but things are not looking great for the Union. Let's start off down here in Alabama, Mississippi. We do now control the railroad. You can see Beauregard moved down, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the railroad now with the evade battle to arrive. I'm going to do the same thing now with Wallace's force rather than zoom around, and hopefully be able to bypass Beauregard's force if they are lucky. It's a big if. Otherwise, I think Beauregard will probably easily attack Mobile, Alabama, and take it without too much difficulty. Here's how things look up here in Montgomery. We don't have control of this railroad line yet. Grant was actually not, sorry, let me move down here. Grant was not actually active last turn, so he didn't really go very far. So rather than move on Fort Pillow, which I think they probably will reinforce this turn, I'm going to move into Madison, Tennessee, and try to take control of the railroad there. St. Louis, which was taken easily by Forrest as he zoomed by last turn, and this Parson unit very strategically cut this railroad. So we can only really get one region over this turn. Meanwhile, Pope's 2 divisions will move over to Jefferson City by the river from Lexington, and Lyon's force should then arrive in Lexington. Basically, these forces got completely out of place, and I screwed up when Lyon was targeting Forrest, which zoomed him way down here, and he couldn't easily get back to a more strategic position. Plus, I really should have left a full division in St. Louis, but I guess I was being a bit greedy and trying to use those forces elsewhere. Probably the most interesting situation that was in Maryland, where Jackson came in and pushed out a pretty decent defensive position by the Union. We did both take the same casualties. Also, the rail in Harpers Ferry has been destroyed, so McDowell's force cannot actually evacuate this turn. So they're going to rebuild the railroad this turn and then try to evacuate west to Morgantown and the following turn. So that should be pretty interesting. I don't really have any forces I can easily get to Carroll, so we're sending we're sending one division from Montgomery here, and then another full division and a brigade from DC. That will leave DC reasonably a little more exposed, but I don't really have a choice. I don't think that the Confederacy can cross here, at least they're unlikely to. I think they have a 9% chance of being stopped by our Navy. So we're actually short on money, as you can see here. That's what we're short on. I'm trying to think what else was interesting. Looks like Judge Albert Johnson is now in control of Missouri. Don't really know who's now in control of Tennessee and Mississippi. It's probably Joe Johnston, either in Memphis or in Nashville. Okay, so let's run the turn and see what happens. Okay, things didn't go really the way I thought they would. Here is McDowell. He was defeated by General Smith here. Confederacy took more casualties, but we did suffer the defeat. And just so everyone knows, I do, in these situations, have them on defend and hold at all costs, but they're just still, retreating, presumably because they feel, they're facing overwhelming numbers or odds. Now, what it means is I can no longer use the railroad here. So Jackson moved up north, which is interesting. From there, you could potentially threaten Harrisburg, for example. Of course, here is there's actually Gettysburg, which is kind of interesting. In Mobile, Alabama, our forces did make it back, And we also were reinforced as well. Here is Polk and actually, so Beauregard's down here, so I'm not really sure where Joe Johnston is. So a few something. Well, I don't know how many forces are there. Maybe nothing, but at least 3 divisions there. Grant did come down, and you can see that. Oh wow! So Longstreet is now a 3-star. Longstreet is a very, very strong force here in Corinth. So these were some really, really good defensive positions by the Confederacy. We are holding Montgomery, which gives us something, but that's not really a lot of solace compared to everything that we've lost. So, I mean, basically, after all this work, the Union's taken Mobile, Alabama, Pensacola, Montgomery, Tucson. We've lost St. Louis, Harpers Ferry, Alexandria, and yeah. As far as casualties go, I'm sure we're way, way behind. In fact, let's take a look. They've lost 75,000 men. And we've lost 100,000. So we've lost about 25,000 more, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I think the wins of the Confederacy have been pretty strategic. So I don't really know what else to say at this point. I need to think about what Jackson's trying to do here. Let's look at the quick weather. It is muddy still, so at least that's good news. So I don't think he'll be able to make a quick dash to Harrisburg, which would be the strategic city up there. So we have been able to set up a defensive position here, so we're able to basically somewhat protect, I think, DC, since we are holding here in Montgomery and up here, but definitely not a great position to be in by any stretch of the imagination. Oh yeah, Quantrill's come up here, so I'll need to deal with that too. You can see they've destroyed the next railroad as well. So yeah, so I'll need to have Kearney rebuild the railroad and then move over. Pope's force has arrived, and here's General Lyon's force, which is now very, 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 very tired. So they'll need to rest. Okay, we did gain some national morale events. So, oh yeah, the free land one. Okay, and we gained a few regiments in Kansas, so we can do partial mobilization again. Okay, so that's about it. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.